Good afternoon, everyone. This is Beth Bronder with ACCE. We're going to get started here quickly with Get Your Local Business on Google Search and Maps with our presenter from Google, Deming Bass. I'm going to wait for a few minutes so that people can filter in, and then we will quickly get started.
And I'll jump in and say hi. And also, if you want to type in the chat, like who you're with, what chambers, that's always fun to know. If there's any of my old chamber buddies out there, can tell ACC conference stories, right? About Nick Fleming.
I'm sure that Nick is before my time, so I don't have any stories.
Yeah, I was trying to think, gosh, all the different conferences I went to. It was so funny talking to Crystal and, you know, doing the Power 10, the Giggle, and then it was through Power 10. She's like, are you the same Deming Bass that worked at a chamber? Like, yeah, the only Deming Bass I know of too. That was hilarious.
Well, you probably heard that our virtual event had a record attendance crowd, and I think it shattered Nashville, which was the previous leader. I think we beat Nashville by maybe about 100 attendees. So
yeah, and it was really well done. I liked your whole system because we did the IEDC conference last week, and it wasn't as easy. I liked the way everything was set up. Y'all did a really good job.
Yeah, it looks great, like to all of you, but it's like total chaos on the back end. I mean, you know, everybody trying to get the time slot, and you know, like I said to you earlier, it's like you're in front of a computer with a camera, but like everything around you is your house, you know. So yeah, just a very weird experience, but we were really pleased.
Yeah, good.
Okay, we only have about 26, but I think maybe what I'll do is I'll just get started with some of the introductions. I'll speak slowly so that people can filter in. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Beth Bronder, and I am the head of development and partnerships at ACCE. Today, I am very happy to be hosting one of our partner solutions webinars from our folks at Google. It is entitled Getting Your Local Business on Google Search and Maps. So this is going to be not only a great tool for chambers, but for you to train your members and get your members more familiar with Google Search and Maps, as well as the Grow with Google program, which has been very, very popular among our members and is growing every year. So with that, I'm going to give a couple quick housekeeping items, and then I'm going to introduce Deming. First of all, if you would keep your questions or post your questions in the question tab, go ahead and put those in. Deming is going to save time after his presentation to go through as many as he can. Those we don't get to, we will certainly follow up with you directly. I've also posted Deming's email address in the chat feature, so if you want to connect afterwards, feel free to reach out to him, or if your question doesn't get answered. Today, we are recording this session, so within 24 to 48 hours, you will be able to access it, share it, push it out to members by going to ACCE, go to professional development, events, and then webinar recordings. Pretty easy path, but if you have any trouble, I'll put my email in the chat as well. We're going to take about 1 hour today, and I don't want to waste too much time because I know Deming has a pretty full presentation. So let me get right into an introduction here. Deming, like all of you, has served in chambers. He is now an official speaker, executive trainer, and consultant to Google, specifically with their Grow with Google partnership program. He's been doing that since 2017. Prior to that, he was an award-winning chamber executive in North Carolina and Georgia. And before that, and after that, he led Constant Contact's marketing efforts across all of the states in the Southeast. To date, Deming has trained over 15,000 small businesses, nonprofits, and chambers on how to better market your goods and services. He has been a speaker at many of our events, most recently our Future of Chambers Summit, and very, very well received. Sort of a fun fact, and maybe the most impressive thing in your bio, is that Deming on average reads 1 book a week. I would like to read 1 book every few months. So I think that is amazing. I'm very, very impressed. With that, I'm gonna hand it over to Deming and we can get going with the presentation. Take it away.
All right, great, thank you, Beth. And it's so good to be here with you guys, especially you heard I'm Chamber Executive, IOM. So I love your world. I love the amazing work that all of you guys do. And as I get started, and we touched on this, I'm going to actually teach the presentation the way we teach it to businesses, but wherever you see business, that's the same thing as chamber. So I want you to sort of wear 2 hats. One, as we're going through, this is going to be helpful for you as a chamber in terms of your own Google My Business profile and how to update it. We're going to do a deep dive there. But also keep in mind that with our Grow with Google program, and you as chambers, if you're signed up as a host partner, we can do these same webinars, and hopefully one day we'll get back to the live events again. We can come into your community and do these absolutely free for your chamber members, and you get to take all the credit for it. And in some cases, you can even charge for it. It'd be great non-dues revenue. So think about that. Number one, think about, take notes, because that's how you learn. All the things that we want you to do for your Google My Business profile for your chamber, but also be thinking about, hey, this is something that we can also offer our members, because this is going to help your members be successful as well. So with that, I'm going to turn that off and jump right into the presentation. And let's get going, because there's a lot to cover, but this is good stuff. So what we're going to be talking about today is, number one, what is a business profile if you're not familiar with what that is and why you need to have that as a chamber or as a business. Also, how we're going to walk you through very quickly, how do you create it? Then how do you manage the business information once you've created it? And I'm going to take you on a tour of all the different features in Google My Business. And I think you're going to see all sorts of light bulbs going off and aha moments of ways that you can actually promote your chamber on the search page without people actually even having to go to your website. We'll do a quick recap and resources. And again, type in your questions and we'll be covering all of those questions at the end. All right, this is a tricky one. I want to start with the video. It's tricky because sometimes on go to webinar, it doesn't play right, but this should work. But this is a video of a real small business owner in New York. And what I love about this is you're going to see how he never had really used Google My Business profile in the past. He started using it, and you're going to be able to visually see kind of what this looks like. And then you're going to see how his son, so this is Vincent, he has a tailor company. Then he opened up, his son is opening up a shoe or a cobbler company next door. And then as we go through our journey together on Google My Business, you're going to see how we sort of create that Google My Business profile for his son. So with that, let's see if this works. We'll click down here and see if you guys can hear and see this. All right, so I love that video because number one, I like Bruno, I like the dog. I think that's something our chambers can do. We need to have mascots outside of our chamber building. But also I love how it showed you were able to see what a business profile looks like. You were able to see that website, the free website people can create. And we're gonna walk through and explain all of that to you guys. So first of all, if you're not familiar with number one, what is a business profile on Google? Business profile on Google is, I like to say, it's like a mini website that shows up right on the first page of search that has all of your chamber information or all of your business information or nonprofit information that you're able to go in and update and create itself. This is an example of what that business profile looks like on a smartphone device. So, and again, I'm going to show you how to update all of this here in the next hour. Number one, you can put in photos and up to 30-second videos about your chamber, your business. You've got the name of the business here, and then it shows the reviews. You've got the area here where people can leave reviews and you can respond to those reviews. You have the overview, so people, and again, all of this is happening on the search page. People can click to get directions to your website, all from the search page. You can put in your location so that people can find your chamber location and get direction on Google Maps and to make sure that it's accurate. And then you can even put in your hours of operation, and there's more. But this is just sort of a general overview of what the anatomy of that business profile looks like. And this is what it looks like on a smartphone. This is what a Google My Business profile over here on the right of the desktop. This is how it looks whenever you do a search for that company locally. And this is what it shows up on that desktop or that laptop. Again, all of your information right over here on the first page of the search. So think about all those times in your own experience when you've wanted to do a quick Google search and you're looking for something local and you either want to get directions or you just want to know, are they open? Especially during COVID-19, are they open now or are they not? Or what's the phone number? I just want to call. All those times now that you actually are looking for local information and you really don't need to necessarily go to a website, you just want that information really quickly. Well, Google allows all businesses and all nonprofits and chambers the ability to create this if you provide face-to-face interaction with your customers. So that means if they come to your location, they come to your office or your storefront or your restaurant or your chamber, or even those companies, maybe you don't have an office or a storefront, maybe you work from home, but you do go out and you meet with people there in your local area. You can also create your Google My Business profile. And all this is free, by the way. Also, this really helps right now. Think of how many times you've looked for businesses on maps to get directions. And up-to-date profiles are 70% more likely for people to actually visit, and then they're 50% more likely to purchase when they show up correctly on Google Maps. And again, one of the big things you don't ever want to forget is how important you want your website or your business information to show up and look good on all devices, especially over here on the left, smartphones or tablets over here on the right. The reason why that is so important, and even for us as chambers, is over half of all searches are happening on smartphones or mobile devices, and now over half of all purchases. So think about that. People that are looking for the chamber, over half of that, they're looking for your information on a smartphone, and they may even want to join the chamber from their smartphone. So you want to make sure it's mobile friendly. All right, so how do you get started with claiming or creating your business profile? One way is if you type in the company name, you may see that a profile already pops up. That's yours, or chambers, that's yours. You'll see down here, you'll see it'll ask, do you own this business? Well, if so, you can claim it now. So you simply click on that and then start the process for claiming the business. The other way, and the way most people do this, is they would go to our link right here. So you want to write this down and you can go to it after if you don't have a profile. You go to google.com/business. And this is where you'll start the process for creating your profile, either for your chamber, or again, this could be for your members to create their business listing. When you're going in to create for the first time your business profile, always remember that you just need to be signed into your Google account. Most of you are probably already signed into your Google account right now. Some of you may have multiple Google accounts. And if you're wondering, Deming, what's a Google account? Well, if you have a Gmail, that's your Google account. That's your username. And then you have the password associated with that. The important thing to remember here is whatever Google account you're logged in as right now, if you would go do this right now, when you're creating your profile, that is the Google account that is going to be assigned to your profile. And just remember that account. And the reason that's important is if you have multiple accounts and maybe a couple of weeks from now you want to go back in and edit your profile and you happen to be in a different Google account, it's not going to let you in because it's not going to recognize you as the owner of the profile. So remember the Google account you're in when you create this. If you don't have a Google account, anybody can create one for free by just clicking on create account or by going down here to this link, accounts.google.com/sign up, and they can create one for free. Once you have created it, it's going to, or gone to google.com/business, you're going to want to type in the business name or type in your chamber name the way that you want it to be shown when people are searching for it. So in this case, his son has typed in Vince's Village Cobbler. Sometimes as you start typing this in, a drop down will come down and the name may already be in there. You can click on that name and then go to next. Then you want to, it's going to ask you just to confirm that name of the business or the chamber. So the big tip here is however it is listed, however people would search for you, that's how you want it to be listed. Whatever's on your business card and part of your branding, you'll click on next. You'll start typing in the category that best fits your business. Again, there may be drop-down choices. You click the one that best represents your overall business or chamber. If you think that you can be multiple categories, don't worry about that. You can do that later. You can pick up to 10 additional categories right now. Just pick the one that best suits your business or category. Then it's going to ask, do you want to add a location customers can visit, like a store or an office? So this is, if, like your chamber, if you have a location that people can visit, you want to click yes. This is what's going to get you showing up on Google Maps so people can get directions. If you don't have a location, but maybe you work from home and you don't want people to come, you don't want that pin placement at your house, you would click no, but you still do meet with people. For example, maybe you're a real estate agent or you're a consultant of some time and you'll go out and meet at coffee places with clients. You would click no, and I'll show you how to take care of that for you guys later. But when you click yes, you want to show up on Google Maps, you put in your physical address, put in the actual streets, don't put in 125 Sullivan Street across from the Statue of Liberty or anything like that. Put in the actual physical address where people would get directions to. If you have a suite number or office number in a building, you click on add line, you can add that. Click on next. And then it's going to ask, but do you also serve customers outside that location? So yes, they can come visit me, but I will also visit them. You click yes. And then over here on the right-hand side of the screen, that's the page you'll go to, and you can put in the city, you can put in the zip code of the area that you serve. And you can put up to 20 locations. I'll talk about this a little bit later. For all of you that earlier on, you said, I don't have a location, but I still want to Google my business profile, and I do serve people, you'll come to this page and do the same thing. So this is where you'll put in your city, your zip code of the area that you go out to meet with people. The next page is it asks to put in your contact information. This is where telephone number, people are going to be able to click directly on the search page and call you. You can also put in your URL for your website so they can click and go directly to your website. Google also has Google My Business. We create a free website. You saw that in the video. By pulling the information from your profile, and we'll talk a little bit later for that if anybody wants a free website. That's good for a lot of your really, really small businesses that are just starting out. At that point, it's just confirming that you are the manager of the profile. Finish and manage the listing. You click finish, but you're not finished. This is the second part that's really important. At this point, you've created the basic information for the profile, but Google needs to verify that you are a real business and nonprofit at that location. So the ways to do it, the typical way that Google's going to verify is by postcard. So you'll get this screen here, and it'll have choose a way to verify. Most everybody will have this option. So you're going to want to put in the name. It may be your name or whoever's creating it. Put in the name of the person that's going to receive this postcard. If you had already put in the address for the location, that address will show up here. And then you click mail and watch for the postcard to arrive. It says 5 days. It may be more, 5 to 14 days. Things are a little slow right now. And also it says postcard, but it's really an oversized perforated envelope that just has the Google logo on it. And look for that. Do not throw it away. If you don't get the mail and you put in somebody else's contact name here, tell them, hey, look for this postcard that has a Google logo on it or envelope. Don't throw it away, because inside that's going to have a 6-digit passcode or a PIN number that you're going to go back and put that information in. And at that point, you are a truly verified Google My Business profile. Then you'll click verify me that way, and then just watch for that postcard. Again, it won't be 5 days, but it can be 5 to 14 days. In some cases, depending on the category of the business, it may also give you a couple of other prompts, like adding your services. So you're going to be able to go in and, well, we tell businesses all the time, and also think about this as a chamber, the more information you put in here, the more likely your chamber or your business is going to show up on that search page. Your profile is going to show up because you're being more descriptive about what people are looking for. So adding in your services are going to help with that. Adding a business description at the very beginning. It's a very short business description. It's only 750 characters, not words, characters. So it's only 2 or 3 sentences. As you guys are going in here and thinking about it for your chamber, just think about, again, what do you do? How are you different from others, and what sets you apart from the competition, or what, how do you make life better for your customers or for your members? But try to be as specific and clear as you can in the very first sentence for the first couple of lines. The reason for that is when your profile actually shows up, it just shows a snippet and only shows the first couple of lines. So that's what people are going to see when they're looking really, really quickly. And remember, this is really quick, so be very clear about what you do as a chamber. And then at that point, you can continue to go in and edit while you're waiting for the verification to happen. And I'm going to show you all the different ways you can edit and update it now. Now, a couple of ways you can manage your business information once you've created it and you've sent it for Google to verify. Obviously, the most popular way is to just log in and go back to google.com/business. So this is the link down here in the bottom left, is where you can go back again and again and again to edit. This screenshot shows you what the full dashboard looks like for your Google My Business profile, where you can make all of your updates and edits. Over here on the left, in the top, it's got your information. Over here, the left-hand navigational panel this is all the links or the tabs you're going to use to make your edits. And I'm going to walk you through each of these. Usually over here in the middle, you'll have up-to-date information, timely information. Right now, a lot of information on COVID-19 and how to communicate with customers, things like that. This is the info section, is where you're going to be able to make most of your edits, and I'll walk you through and show you how to do that. But here's something that's pretty cool. The other 2 ways you can make edits. Number 1 is there's also a free Google app. So if you go to the App Store or Google Play and you just Google My Business app, once it's loaded onto your phone, you can make all your edits and update photos and things like that directly from your phone. That's really helpful. And then, this is kind of cool, you can make edits directly from Google search results. So you remember I talked about your Google account being attached to your profile? Well, anytime you're logged in and you go to Google search and you want to search something on Google and you're logged into that account that is assigned to your profile, you can simply go into the Google search bar up here, type in your chamber name or type in the company name, and it's going to pull down at the top. You're going to have the ability to make edits directly from the search page. So you can just type in, Raleigh Chamber or whatever, and then you're going to be able to go in here. You can edit information, you can create a post, you can add a photo, you can respond to a review, you can run a campaign, all of this from your search page. Isn't that pretty cool? But don't worry, nobody else is going to ever see that. That's only linked to you because of your Google account that's assigned to your profile. So let's jump in, and I want to show you all the different things you can do with your profile and I imagine most chambers aren't doing nearly half of this. But again, all of this is free ways to market and communicate and get members and get sponsors, and you'll see why. So number one is, remember when you created it, if you did want to go back, you want to make edits to your name, again, go to this info tab over here on the left, and you can always go in and edit your name. And remember I mentioned the categories? Well, you need to have one category to create the account, but then you can go back in and you can add up to 10 different categories as well. So I would put in as many categories that are really specific to what you do. Next, under the info area, this is also where you can go in if you need to edit your location or you made a mistake and one digit was off. And even sometimes we have those funky times where even a street address, the pin placement isn't quite right. You can actually take that pin placement and drag it over to make sure it shows up perfectly on Google Maps. You can do that here under info. And then also for all of you or for businesses that don't have the pin placement, but they meet people in a service area, they can go here, and if you also serve in a local area in addition to being on maps, this is where you can go in and put your city or you can put your zip codes. And this is where you can put up to 20 different locations for your service area. And then for all of you that work from home, you don't have the pin placement, what shows up on your profile, they'll still see the map of the area. Like what you see here is just no pin placement. So people aren't coming to your house at midnight, knocking on doors, trying to get whatever it is you do. The next thing you want to do if you have hours of operation is to go in and literally check off every day that you work and then what are those hours of operation. And don't just do the basics like 9 to 5. Also go through and look at every single holiday, Christmas Eve, Easter, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, all those days when people might think you're closed. If you're open on those days, you have special hours, confirm those hours as well. Again, 40% of people, they're looking for hours of operation. And think about how many times you've done that, right? Then once you've created those normal hours of operation, you can also, depending on your business, create special options, special hours for things like delivery or takeout or pickup, or how there's senior hours at grocery stores. We created all of this to really help businesses and nonprofits through COVID-19. You also, and again, we're still in this info tab, still all this is in the info tab, you can create a short name and a custom link. So you're gonna wanna go in and create a short name. You can see Vince's Village Cobbler, it's all basically one name, no spaces. And it's at Vince's Village Cobbler. So this is kind of like the handle you would have for a Twitter or anything like that. This is your handle essentially for your Google My Business profile. So this is what you can put, which would link to your Google My Business profile and all of your online marketing. And I'll show you the link in a little bit that you can put on your print marketing. But basically, this is a great way to get people to leave reviews and have your members go and click on that, go directly to Google My Business to see it or to leave reviews. We'll talk about reviews in just a second. Next, if you need to edit anything with phone numbers or you want to add some phone numbers, you can add up to 3 different phone numbers for your business or your chamber. And then this is where you'll go in and make sure you confirm, or if you don't have a website now and you're just getting this going, you can go in later and add your URL. And I'll show you in a second how you can create one at no additional cost. Next, all under info, and hopefully you can see how a lot of people don't do any of this. They just do the basic stuff and then that's it, and then they never come back. The more you go in and spend just 10 to 15 minutes doing all this, this is more data that is being put out there that people can find that's going to make your profile stand out and show up at the top versus others. But attributes are different phrases or words that show how you're different from other companies, or what makes you unique. So, for example, black-owned businesses, veteran-led, women-led, and then things like, do you schedule appointments online? Do you only take cash? Do you only take credit cards? Are you wheelchair accessible? All of those things, the more attributes you put in, the more likely your target customers are going to be able to find you. We talked about this earlier, but sometimes people create a profile and they never write the description. That's a big no-no. Go in and make sure you write that brief description about your chamber, who you are, what you do, what makes your members' lives better. Like, how do you really help them in the community? And again, focus on those top couple of lines. You have the ability, if you don't have a business that's open yet, if you're opening it soon, you can go ahead, create your Google My Business listing, start creating and putting in the information, and then you can set up the date when it would go live, so people would know. They would be able to see this, but they would know the day that you're actually going to open for business. And then these are the big ones. This is where I want you to, if you've been falling asleep, don't pay attention now, okay? Because this is big. One of the things we've been doing with Google, at Google, is we're trying to help businesses and chambers and nonprofits. How can people actually do business with you right there on search? So not having to go to a website, not looking for what is it, and where's my call to action, all that. How can we help that, that and just that one click do business with you? So depending, one of them is booking. So depending on the category of the business, in this case, if you have online classes, you can actually schedule it, set it up where there's a bookings tab right there on your profile where people can book classes, and you would use a third-party vendor, whoever you use right now, to schedule online classes, Calendly, things like that. Same things with appointments. You can add appointment links so that people can literally, from the profile, just click on that to schedule an appointment. So all your sales people out there, think about that. How cool would that be to be able to schedule an appointment without ever even having to go to the website? The post tab, okay, now we're out of that info tab. But look at this post tab here, and remember this, because this is free advertising and so many people don't take advantage of this. With the post, you can post updates. In this case, it could be COVID-19 related. If you're closed or temporarily closed, how can you do business with us? But let me give you some real world examples of what posts look like, and give you ideas of how you can get memberships and sponsorships from this. These are the 4 types of posts. Basically, a what's new post is what we just talked about. This is, if you guys have been closed or your office hasn't been open, or you're going through phase 2 of reopening, and you're going in and, here's everything you want to update people on. But this can also be if you ever move to a new location, if you ever start a new program at the chamber you want to announce, new hires that you want to announce, you want to post, hey, here's our new board that's been selected, or chairs that have been selected. Products, you can go in and add a photo or up to a 30-second video, a title, a description with a link to where they can buy now. So this is literally like a free ad that you can create that shows up in your profile. So think about running an ad for membership or sponsorships that you're trying to sell. Offers are going to be tied to a date. So you can see there's Bruno again, save 10% by showing us a picture of Bruno, which I love that. But this could be, buy one, get one free, by Halloween. And then events, this is really big for chambers, is all the events we have, and we do them, we promote them our traditional way. We'll make sure you go in and you're promoting your events on your profile as well. For what's new in products, these will automatically drop off of your profile after 7 days. Because Google, we're trying to encourage you guys to always post new information. For offers and events, these will always be tied to whatever the date is. So it'll stay up till the offer is over or the event is over. Under the Photos tab, if you haven't created your profile yet, or you're just getting started, or you're going back and reviewing, just go in and add 5 to 10 great looking photos. And these can be photos of your products, your services, your chamber, your storefront, your logo. I love shiny, happy people using our products and services. I tell you, shiny, happy people at chamber events that are just happy and making tons of money, right? Some great tips: make sure that they look good. They're not like grainy or really shadowy. You can use them to highlight certain features about your company or help people identify with your brand. You always want to use your logo, and then you can have a cover photo as well, just like in a lot of the social media. This is a big one, is just take the time to add a 30-second video. Because again, and when you look at profiles after this, if you ever look around, a lot of them aren't using videos. And videos are a great way. Number one, they're more dynamic, and it's going to make you stand out from the competition. And I'm telling you, especially if you chambers, you're in communities where there are multiple chambers, you start doing this stuff, you are going to, even if you're the smallest chamber in the region, this is going to make you stand apart and wow people, even the bigger guys. Products, so depending on the company, so in your case, as a chamber, as a nonprofit, this probably ain't going to show up for you. But if you, depending on the category, yes, you sell products, there's going to be in their dashboards this section, a little tab called products. So again, and our goal is, how can we help you get more business, get more customers, from search without even having to go to websites. So this is where you put in your images of the product, your product name, whatever the cost is, the description, and people can literally buy your products from search. Now, depending on the category, this is also true for services. And this would be interesting. I have to look and see if, as a nonprofit chamber, this might start popping up for you, but I'm not sure. This is where you can add in the services for your profile. So you put in the title of your service. You can either put in a price or not, a little description of the service, and then you click save. So again, people are able to see and to book those services, again, directly from search. All right, you've heard me talk a couple of times about the free website. The way the free website works is, once you've gone in and you've created your profile and you put in all this copy and content, images, photos, and all that, down here at the bottom, see where it says website tab, you're going to be able to click on that, and Google will have created for you a simple website template that pulls from your information in the profile. So in this case, it pulls his name, it pulls the hours of operation, it has a call to action button, it has where people can call, how they can get directions. It's got down here an image. And it'll even pull, so he's a cobbler, so it'll be a stock footage of like shoes or something, right? And you can go in and edit all of this yourself. So look over here to the left of the screen. See right here where my mouse is going, where it says themes, and then under it, text, edit, and then photos and more. Well, you can go in, and if you don't like the color purple, you can go in and change it to green or red or whatever the colors that match your branding. You can go in and edit any of this text and make it how you want it to sound. You can even go in and add your own photos and replace those stock images. You can do all of that. And then this is a free website. And again, most of you guys already have websites, so this isn't for you, but this could be for really small businesses that are just starting out. When you create the free website through the profile, see up here, the name where it says Vince's-village-cobbler.business.site. That's then going to be your free URL. So basically, if it's Raleigh-chamber, it would then be .business.site. So that's the free sort of ending to the URL versus like a .com or a .biz or .edu or .org. That's going to be free. But you always have the option to then buy whatever domain you want, and it can be redirected to this. Or you may like this. You may already have a URL, and again, you can redirect it to your free website. But that's basically the free website that people can create. Then reviews are huge, as you know. So this allows you under the reviews tab to respond and to see reviews as they come in. You'll always get an email immediately when you get a review, and we always encourage you to respond immediately and let people know how much you appreciate them. When they leave a great review, let them know how much you love them, and that's going to build up customer loyalty. But you can click on reviews and you can post your responses to reviews as well. Another great tip to help build up those reviews is, remember I talked about that the short name, which is basically, it could be Raleigh Chamber, or it was Vincent's Village Cobbler, right? Well, you can that creates a short URL, which is basically what you see right here. So it's g.page/ whatever your short name is, so Vincent's Village Cobbler or Raleigh Chamber /review, right? And that link is what you can link in all of your online marketing, or you can put that on your print marketing. That's going to send people directly to your Google My Business profile where they can leave a link or leave a review. So this is a great way to just send one email out to your members, or when you hear people talking about how much they love you, ask them to go real quick, spend 1 minute, go leave a 5-star review, and just leave a sentence about what they love about you. And that's how you're going to build up those reviews. And it's amazing when you look around how few reviews a lot of chambers have, right? But think about when you're searching for products and services, you always look at reviews. And if I see a chamber that's got 250 reviews and it's 5 stars, I'm way more likely to join that chamber than if I see a chamber that has 15 reviews at 3.5 stars, right? Also, if you have the app, remember I mentioned you can download the app for free on your phone. If you have your app, you can then, here on the left-hand side, set up messaging. And so people can text message you. And you can see over here on the right, you can set up an automated response. Hey, how can I help you today? And this is going to be good for your salespeople. Be like, hey, are you available tomorrow at 3 for me to swing by the chamber and talk about membership? And then you text back, yes, absolutely. So you can set that up, and you can always also take it down. If you do set it up, though, make sure you respond pretty quickly, because again, people, when they're texting, they expect a response fairly quickly. Then down here at the bottom, there's also a users tab. So I know, since I was one of you guys, I know all the hats that you wear, and you probably are sitting here thinking, Deming, this is great, but I don't have time to do all this. Well, you can actually set up other users to make these edits for you. You will show up as the owner. So if you want to set this up, click on users, then you'll click on this little plus with the people. You're going to be the owner, which means you can do everything. You can close down the account, transfer ownership, do all of that. You can then set other people up as maybe co-owners that can do pretty much everything except close it down, transfer ownership. And then you could even maybe let your marketing person say, I want you to be responsible for making posts and uploading photos and responding to reviews, right? So you can then be selective in the different tasks that you want people to accomplish. So then once you have this information up and running for a while, you're going to want to go back in, and I would go in maybe once a week or every couple of weeks and look at this Insight tab. This Insight tab is going to show you what is the activity, what are people actually doing, how are they engaging with your chamber through your profile. So you can see, for example, in this case, direct. So these are people that are finding your business based on your chamber. So they're clicking Raleigh Chamber, Cobb Chamber, Gwinnett Chamber. Discovery are going to be people that are just looking for chambers near me, or maybe business lead groups, right? Things like that. And then branded, a lot of times it's more for companies, but customers that are finding your listing through a brand related to your business, right? So you're going to be able to see information like that. And you can dig really deep, and you can start seeing reports like search queries. So what were the words people were using that they were finding me, and then they ended up becoming members, right? And start thinking about, okay, that means we need to focus in, maybe do an ad campaign on those words. Are they finding me by doing a search on Google search, or are they finding me by trying to get directions, by finding me on maps? you'll be able to see what they do. Do they call? Do they visit? And do they get driving directions? If they get driving directions, it's kind of hard to see here, but see this middle report? Back here, if you have driving directions, you're on maps, you're going to be able to see, if you can see where my mouse is. This is a darker little area that's purple. That means the darker shade, it's like a heat map. You're going to find certain zip codes or areas in your community where most people drive to visit the chamber. How cool is that? So then you might even do some direct mail to that specific zip code if you wanted to. Phone calls, time of days you get calls, days of the week, all sorts of great stuff. So obviously that is a lot of information to throw at you, but a lot of valuable information. But to get started, basically all I want you to do, if you don't have a profile already, is go to google.com/business and start that process for creating your profile. You can either claim it or complete it the way that I showed you. Remember the account you're logged into, because that's what it'll be assigned to. Request that postcard. It's not going to arrive in 5 days. It may, but it's probably more like 5 to 14 days. Make sure you don't throw it away. Sign back in to google.com/business, enter the code, the 6-digit code, and then start going in and update that business information. Then once your profile is created, I want you to make it a habit of spending just $15, not $15, thinking of Geico, 15 minutes a week to go back in and just review and update the information as needed. Do like 1 post a week. You know, make sure you have your hours of operation updated, your photos, add some videos. Again, do at least a post a week, especially for chambers. Make sure you're posting your event information. You're gonna be shocked and surprised how many people will sign up through that. And then go in and look at the insights and dig into that and find out how they're finding you on Google and take advantage of that to get more customers and more visits. All right. So here's our quick recap and some resources for you. These are other really cool things we have available for you and anybody that has a profile. If you go here to g.co/marketing kit, this allows you, we put together, you can create custom posters, it'll create custom social media posts. So when somebody creates a 5-star review and did a great job, it'll automatically pull that, create this in this cool looking social media post that you can review, and you just simply post, and you can post that on Facebook or Twitter or anything like that. So that's pretty cool, this whole marketing kit, all free. This is, I love this, Google Primer. If you want to become a better marketer or just understand business better for your members, you can download this free app from the App Store or Google Play. And it's basically these bite-sized 5-minute marketing and business lessons. So, you know, everything from, again, what we're talking about, how do I post an update? How do I create a Google My Business profile? How do I create, you know, what's the top 10 tips for a great website? And it goes on and on and on, lots of great lessons for you as well. This, and you'll want to do a screenshot, and again, you'll have a copy of this presentation too, but this is really, really, really helpful. Or write this down. G.co, down here in the bottom left, g.co/grow/quick help. These are quick help videos for small business, 2 to 5 minute videos that, again, like if you followed me, but you're like, but what was it he said? How do I go in and create appointments? Or how do I create bookings or things like that? You can go here and they'll literally walk you through it in a video. You'll see somebody doing it. You can also see stuff like, how do I create a YouTube channel for my business? Which, by the way, that's an example of another webinar that we provide and we can provide to your members as well. Again, all free. But I love the quick help videos. And then if you want to do additional education or additional webinar topics, you can go to, we're part of the Google OnAir team. You can go here to g.co/grow OnAir. You can do that. Or, like I said, host your own and take advantage of it and be like, hey, the chambers, you know, bringing Google to town, or, you know, these official Google webinars, and let you guys take the credit for it. And then finally, and if you have any questions, make sure you're typing them in, because I'll be able to get to them here in just a minute, because we're wrapping up. And finally, this is our page for our program, Grow with Google. This is where you can go and sign up if you're not already a host partner. You can sign up as a chamber, and because you're chambers, we provide all of these materials for free. I mostly focus on the business piece, but we have webinars and we have resources for teachers and students so that they can build their digital skills in the classroom. We have resources for people searching for jobs. So any of you guys that have workforce or educational development programs as part of the chamber, these are going to be great resources for you as well. You can find all that there and sign up to become a partner. So with that, I'm going to turn my camera back on and see if we have any questions, and I'll try to answer your questions. And hope you learned a lot. Didn't fall asleep.
Deming, while you're taking a look at the questions, I'm going to go ahead and throw one out there that came in pretty early on when you were talking about getting started. The person asked, Brenda Easter asked, the Google account was set up before she came to the chamber. So she's wondering, how does she go back and find out what the login information is, maybe tied to a Gmail account?
Yeah, so one of the things that you can do is when you try to claim, go in and try to claim that listing. And if it says, you're not the owner, as you claim it, it's going to prompt you and it will give you a, like you were talking about the email, it'll show you, like if we were using my personal email, it would be d.at gmail.com. So it's sort of prompting you, do you know that email? Because that's the email, the account that this is associated with. In some cases, you may have known who that person was, right? You'd be like, oh yeah, I know who that email was. That was Kathy who left 2 years ago. You can then just call Kathy if you still have that relationship, or email and just, hey, we're trying to log in. I'm trying to claim ownership. What was your username and password? Or can you transfer that ownership to us? A lot of times that's the easiest way if you have the relationship, and then it's done like that. If it's not, when you get that same prompt, when you go in to try to claim it and you can't, but you get that, you can then request transfer or request a transfer of ownership from that person through Google. What will happen is Google will contact them to try to get them to transfer. And if they don't hear back after 7 days, I think they try one more time. And if they don't hear back, then they'll start the process for you to actually claim ownership on your own.
Okay, great. We also have a question about what are some of the best practices to start with the Google Ad Grant for nonprofits?
Best practices for Google Ad Grant for nonprofits. Well, I would tell you that number one, always have a clear goal on what you want to accomplish from your ad campaign before you get started. And so what I mean by that is, and especially as a nonprofit, even though we're nonprofits, I had a great chamber mentor who was like, we're not a nonprofit. We need to operate like a for-profit. And he was also a former Motorola CEO, but he was like, the more money we make, then the more stuff we can do, right? So don't spend more money on an ad campaign, even if it's grants, than you're going to bring in to your nonprofit. And so the way that you do that is and this is another webinar that we give on data and goals, is have one particular goal of what you want to accomplish. And that could be like, I want to sell 200 seats to our annual dinner from this campaign. And I know that the annual dinner tickets are $100 per seat. So I should have picked something smaller. 200 times 100 is, Beth, $2,000. No, just kidding. Anyway, you want to figure out how much you want to sell and what the value of that is going to be. And then you'll know then how much you want to spend on that. But never spend more, and nonprofits do this a lot, chamber. Don't just guess at spending and waste money. You always want to bring in more money than you actually spend. Start with that goal and then build back your ad campaign from there. The other thing I'll say is a great formula for any ad, especially a search engine marketing ad where it's built around words and it's a text ad that shows up at the top. Lead with a problem you solve. follow that up with an incentive for why they want to click on the ad, and always finish with a clear call to action. Because I did that when I had to get flowers for my mom for Valentine's Day a couple years ago. On Valentine's Day, I did a search, florists in Charlotte. First ad that came up said same day delivery. Then it was 15% off Valentine's Day flowers, order online today. So they led with the problem I had, which was same day delivery. Then they gave me a reason to click on the ad, some sort of incentive, and then always tell people what you want them to do. Don't assume that they're going to click. Tell them what you want them to do.
Very good. Well, we are running out of time here, and the questions, any questions that might come up after we finish, certainly I posted your contact information in the chat box. Also, a reminder to everyone that this session has been recorded, so it's a great resource to have, not only to share internally at your chamber, share with other chamber colleagues in your network, but also to share with small businesses in your community. I want to thank Deming. It was a lot of information to take in, but I think it was very consumable, and I thought the presentation made it nice and simple. We all loved Bruno and the video. Thank you all for attending. Again, look for the recording if you'd like to use it in the professional development tab of the ACCE website. And then, as always, you can find Google Partner Program information on our website and in Chamber Executive Magazine. They've been a longtime supporter of our organization and a longtime contributor to Chamber, the success of Chamber community. So we thank you for that, Deming, and we thank everybody for joining us today. I look forward to seeing you again on another sponsored webinar. Take care.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.